Hey there YouTube, this is sjm4306 back with another video. This time it's another mail video. So I was contacted by a company, they're called Lamptee, and they make a bunch of really interesting like side lit laser cut acrylic kind of looking lamps, I guess you could call them. They're for decorative lighting. Anyway, they asked me if there's anything I was interested in on their site, and I took a look, and they had some like really funky geometric designs and a bunch of stuff that's really cool. So I asked for one lamp in particular that caught my eye, and I guess we'll just, without further ado, just pop this open and see exactly what is in here. I'm just gonna move this. And so at the very top is the lamp itself. You can maybe see what it is, but I'm just gonna set this aside for right now, and we'll take a look. There are instructions included. Yeah, it's just a like USB powered base. It looks like it'll also run off of AA battery, so that's pretty useful. It's actually pretty nicely packed. Everything is kind of in this foam stuff. There is the base itself. Okay, there we go. There's a base itself, and I believe this is like a touch sensor for the actual button to change the colors. There's, what is this? A micro USB cable, so that's good. You can run this off of, I'm guessing, either the batteries or USB. This is not rechargeable or anything like that. And I forgot to mention the prices for these. They have a bunch of different options in terms of the bases. They even have like ones with like Bluetooth speakers built in and all that. But anyway, I believe this is a basic model, and these start out at, I think it was $26.99, something like that, for just the base, the lamp, and the USB cable. But no, yeah, you can see hopefully just in there there's a string of RGB LEDs. There's, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 of them. And hopefully we can pop this open. I want to see maybe if there's any screws in here. It looks like it's clipped in. Anyway, in a second, I'm going to test it out first, obviously, but we'll pop this open and see what kind of circuitry is in here. And obviously there's protective film on this. I'll leave it on for now because I don't want to get my finger oils all over it. But yeah, you can see I selected the Millennium Falcon one, and this looks... So on the picture on the site, they show you for each option, like every color available, they show you how it'll look. But yeah, you can see it's basically laser cut. Well, it's laser engraved, I would say, and obviously the outside is cut. But it's a plexiglass, and it's a good, I don't know how many millimeters that is. Probably like a good 5 or 8 millimeters thick, something like that. You might be able to crack it if you really put a lot of force into bending it, but yeah, looks pretty sturdy. So yeah, it says, please tear up both sides of the protective film. Okay, here we go. Got my obligatory sjm4306 battery bank. Wow. Yeah, speaking of pretty darn bright. Yeah, there's obviously color changing mode. It just cycles through solid colors, solid red, solid green, solid blue, white, I guess like an orangish yellow, kind of a cyan, a magenta, a white, and yeah, and then it kind of does this color changing mode again, and it goes through. So anyway, yeah. Now let's see. Try to do this carefully. Give me a second. I'm gonna have to probably move the camera back or something because this is gonna be quite a bit taller than what I can get in frame. So give me a second while I peel this off, set it up on the lamp, and set up the camera again. Okay, so peeling off the front was pretty easy because I actually kind of tucked and partially removed the plastic around this part so I could use that kind of as a handle. The piece on the back, oh my goodness, that was so difficult. I ended up using this little spudger tool to kind of scrape at the edge to get the edge up enough so I can get my finger and grab. But yeah, I tried a piece of tape, didn't really work. So yeah, that was difficult. But then again, I've done other laser cut kind of case builds and stuff like that in the past. My 3D printer, first one, had a laser cut frame, and it's always the same thing. It's really difficult to peel off the protective films, and the laser, the way that when it cuts it, it kind of like bonds it more on the edges. It's weird. Anyway, but yeah, once I got it in, yeah, it just kind of slots in there. It's not very difficult. It doesn't click in or anything, it just sort of sits in there. But yeah, we are good to go now, and I guess I can just plug in power and try to do this one-handed. And there we go. So yeah, this is the color changing one. Let me get the overhead light. Oh yeah, this is plenty bright enough. Oh. Yeah, this looks fantastic. And the amount of detail, the level of detail and everything is fantastic. Some of them look really trippy. They're like it's obviously a two-dimensional image, but some of them look like a three-dimensional wireframe. I was tempted to get one of those, but I love Star Wars, and the Millennium Falcon is an awesome looking ship, so I thought this would look really cool, just sitting there and glowing. So let's cycle through, just to give you guys a flavor. So we have solid red. And I don't know if it's capturing it that well on film, but it looks like absolutely vibrant, and I'm actually kind of surprised how well. There is a bit more of a bright spot clearly at the base where the LEDs are, but it's actually really evenly lit towards the top, which I'm actually kind of surprised by. And then we have green. And then blue. Blue looks really nice. Actually, all the colors look really nice. White, yellow. This is sort of a cyan. And what's really cool is because there's some dimensionality, some thickness to the acrylic, you get a back reflection if you look off angle. You can kind of see a double image if you're looking off angle. It's a lot more visible in person, and hopefully the vibrancy of this is coming through on camera as well. We have like a magenta, kind of pink color, a white. And you can even see the, it just cycles through. You can even see the edges too, basically are like refracting the light. So yeah, this looks fantastic. If we flip this around, if you flip this around, the image is on the front side. It's etched, and so you get that that reflection, like internal reflection, double image that I was talking about there. But if I actually were to flip this around, you don't get that because the image is on the plane there. Yeah, this is absolutely fantastic. See just how glowy that is. Wow. Yeah, and they have like hundreds of designs. I went through like page after page of different designs on their listings to see what I would be interested in. There we go. So yeah, if you're in the mood to get some kind of mood lighting going, and you want something that'll look really neat, I can bet you I have this set up in my lab. As soon as I show someone around, have this plugged in, their eye will instantly go to this lamp. I do want to run a power consumption test to see just how much power this is running. Give me a sec, I have to put down the phone. Okay, so we are running upside down, mind you, but it's in the color changing mode. And we can see we're drawing about 130 milliamps-ish, depending on the color. Yeah, 132, 139, 140, 150. About 160 peak on blue. I'm guessing that's draws more power. White goes all the way up. Wow, to about 260. Now we're on like yellowish. 270, 280. About 300 milliamps on kind of this purplish color. I'm gonna call it. It's looking like about 300 milliamps, which isn't actually horrible. This power bank is rated at, I think, like 2000 milliamp hours, something like that. So at 300, this should, on a fully charged power bank of this size, it should run for a good like 5 or 6 hours still. But yeah, that is absolutely fantastic. I already got some fingerprint smudges on here, or maybe they were on there because that was exposed when I first touched it. The wrapper, the protective film was peeled off that area, so I probably accidentally touched that while I was trying to peel off the other side. But anyway, yeah. This kind of material, though, you are going to want to clean with like a glasses lint-free cloth and make sure it's clean so you don't scratch, because every single scratch you add is going to stick out like a sore thumb. Yeah, that's absolutely fantastic. Anyway, if you guys are interested in picking up your own, either this model or any other model that they have tons of stuff, everything from like video game character to pop culture references, and just about anything you can think of. They have something. They have sports, cars, motorcycles, planes, all that. And I believe there is an option you can actually submit your own or like make a request, and you might have to pay more for that one. But yeah, so they can do pretty much anything. I'm guessing they're only limited kind of by the maximum dimensions of the acrylic sheets and the specifications of whatever laser that they're using to engrave this. Yeah, zoom in right here. You can see, there we go. You can see kind of this back and forth raster pattern on those pieces. But yeah, it's not quite a raster. It looks like they're using kind of like a vector because the circles are perfectly smooth. Yeah, that is crazy. Wow, this is gonna look absolutely great on my bench. So yeah, the board is very simple. You wouldn't expect much out of this board. Basically, a diode for the batteries, so that if you plug in USB at the same time of having batteries plugged in, it won't try to charge the batteries. Other than that, yeah, we just have this odd extension just so that I can reach the USB port on the back instead of having a giant board. And we have the 8 RGB LEDs. And these are discrete RGB. They're not like serially controlled WS2812s or anything like that. I don't think so. Actually, they might be. No, they're not individually addressable. They're pretty much all in parallel. They're banked, and you can see pretty beefy current limiting resistors and the transistors to drive them. So they're just being PWM by this main controller here. We have our touch sensor, and so that's interesting. There's no dedicated chip for the touch sensor, which means the microcontroller, the main processor, is doing the touch sense routine while it's doing all the PWMing. So that's actually rather interesting. And yeah, the main controller, I don't see any markings on it, but it's an 8-pin SOIC, and undoubtedly that's the main processor. It's probably like an 8-bit microprocessor. That would be pretty sufficient to basically generate PWM and do a capacitive sense routine. And interestingly enough, there is a 3-pin thing here for what looks like a remote control, one of those 38 kilohertz IR receivers. So I wonder if the software is burnt on here to support one of those. I might try soldering one in. But the only thing is, as this didn't come with a remote, I don't know what the protocol is and what the packages that need to be sent to control it, so I would have to reverse engineer that. But yeah, it looks like it would support an IR receiver there, assuming the software supports it. Anyway, once again, huge thanks to Lamptee for sending this in for review. And if you guys are interested, I will have links down below, and check out their site definitely. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.